We have now our asset library fully imported and all the material preset rules have been set. We are now ready to import our track. I'm going to go under the outliner and I'm going to hide all my asset library by simply clicking the visible icon and then simply drag down to make them invisible. I'm also going to go under properties and enable the script controller. So like that, I will be able to navigate when I'm in render layer view here and move the view and the location of my camera at the same time. I'm now going to select the MicroKart directory and go in Blender. And in Blender, we have been spending most of our time on the lib scene collection so far. And now we're going to toggle it off and toggle the visibility of our track. This is the track that we're going to import. I am going to click A to select everything, then File, Export Collada, MicroKart selection only, and triangulate and apply viewport modifier, export. Back in my NRG editor with my MicroKart folder selected, I'm going to go under Asset, Import, and my DAE file. This time nothing to do in geometries or material. Select animation no, skeletons no, visual scene, right depth for shadow, geometry for color, and very important, scan for existing assets. As I click import, we can see that our track is reconstructed and now I can navigate inside the environment. As you can see, it's pretty bright. So I'm going to go on outliner and I'm going to go under sun and I'm going to tune that down. These were the value that were used for the sandbox. This is already much better. You can see that my skybox is cutting as well. So I'm going to select my skybox properties and I am going to go under the scale and I'm going to set that to 1000, 1000, 1000. I am also going to disable the script to rotate the skybox. I do not want that. And I'm also going to disable the constraint that force our skybox to follow our camera. And I'm going to reset back the skybox location to 0. I can see that my track is still cut. That's because of the range of my camera. So geometry properties, camera, and I'm going to set the clip end to be 1000 as well. As I navigate around, I can see that my shadows here are a bit off. This is basically because the range of the sky that was set in the skybox for the skybox in the sandbox is very different. Here we're having like those large, we're having here the arc and the bridge here. So our probe needs to be able to capture from right above here all the way down to the ground. So we're going to change that and I'm going to go back a bit. I'm going to go under outliner and select my first probe, and the values that I'm about to input, basically I just go around and I simply modify the zoom, the clip start, clip end, and the distance based on the camera direction. So it's a bit of a trial and error to find a good value that fit for your scene. And after that, you can encode them in a script so they can be loaded when the actual scene is loaded as well. So for the first probe, the zoom will be 90, clip start minus 130, clip end 130, seems to give good results. And for the distance, it will be now 30. Second probe selected. Probe properties. The zoom of the second one will be 276 now. Clip start will be set at minus 170, 170, and the distance will be set to 140 here. And for our last probe, we are going to set the zoom to be at 380 this time. And for the clip start, clip end, minus 200 and minus 230 and 230. And for the distance, we are going to set that to 280. So with these value that I tested, it seems that there is no shadow artifacts in our shadow cascade, and we can basically grab every piece of shadow information with these value inside our depth buffer. There's another thing that I would like to change here. The sky not really satisfied with the bloom that we're having here. That was okay for the NRG sandbox, but we're going to increase that a bit. So I'm going to go under properties and materials, and I'm going to select my skybox, material skybox, and I am basically going to tweak these values. For my skybox, let's put the strength at 2 this time, and we are going to put the blur at 3.725. There you go. We already see an improvement here. And the last bit is to increase the overall bloom. So we're going to go under bloom here, and we are going to increase the max threshold, set that to something like 10. And we're actually going to tune that down. And if you want to have a reference what the bloom is actually capturing, you can go under render and then bloom. Select basically the texture attachment. Let's increase that. So basically that's the bloom attachment. So I just want to have basically just the sky itself a bit more glowy, something around here. Let's say 1.25. And I'm going to set that up to 6.275. There you go. So I got an overall bloom that it's, what I'm grabbing from the blur texture is a lot more prominent this time. And I'm also going to change, just for the sake of it, in composite. I am slightly going to composite material. I am going to increase the overall bloom a bit just to make it more glowy, but not too much. 0.275. There you go. So next we are going to import our cart. We are going to add physics, and we are going to code the cart controller.